is Dr. James Jernigan with Cornerstone Chiropractic. I'm here again with Liz Kahn with You Be Well.
Yes.
And I say again all the time.
I know. We're always going to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today we want to talk about something that could potentially be 2 seconds or 2-minute video or a 20-minute video, but we want to talk about your transition times and what are you filling your head with when you are doing your transitions, whether it's you're driving to work, you're going to school, or you're going to dropping your kids off at soccer.
It's that from point A to point B. What's that intermediate time? Yeah. What are you doing in there?
Because what you fill your head with is going to start to dictate where your focus is in your life. And so we were talking about it, and I love audiobooks.
Yeah.
I just think Audible, I've probably kept them in business because of all the books that I've bought. But it's crucial. And so what we want to talk about is, where do you want to grow? Like, do you want to grow your business? Do you want to grow
spiritually?
Like reading classics.
Right.
Do you want to, where do you want to grow? And then using your transition time, so it doesn't take any other time out of your day. You would be spending that time anyways.
Right. Well, and I was realizing as we're going through things, we want to give you action steps that are things that you can do without upending your life.
Right.
And I know that sometimes, we kind of get into, there's a planning that has to go into it. So today we don't want to have to do that.
Zero planning.
This is, just intentions, being intentional in the moment, not even intention setting, right? It's being intentional in the moment, saying, okay, I'm in the car. And this is what I'm going to do with it instead of just, this is what's on the radio. I know my kid hates it when I listen to talk radio. He'd rather hear music. And it's interesting because he wants to hear a certain type of music.
Okay.
And it tends to be that upbeat kind of, because it keeps him feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Why do 8-year-olds know things that adults just can't keep their fingers on?
I don't know, it's crazy. And if you've ever been around me, it's like, I hate music. And it's crazy. I mean, I love music, and there's certain times and certain places, but if I'm in a car, I either want it to be silent, or I want to be, because then I'm thinking and I'm processing, and because I'm always trying to find out just things that are limiting me or holding me back from becoming more and more of who I truly authentically am.
Okay.
And so if I'm not listening, if I'm in the car, it's either nothing or it's audiobooks, and I average about a book a week. That I read. Well, I can't say I read, but I listen to it,
okay.
Right? And I process it, and then,
And so, that's interesting. So, your authentic self, who you're supposed to be, and you're using that time that it's in your day anyway.
I'm going to be using that time anyways.
So, you don't even have to schedule it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to make a lot of changes, because you're going to be in the car anyway.
Yeah.
What a great time. Well, what a great way to use that time.
Right. Yeah. And I love this also. I don't know if this is like a different, but I think it's the same thing because it's still a transition time, but wherever I'm going. So I remember when I'm going to the office, or I was thinking back a couple years when my grandma was still here, when I would go to my grandma's, on my way there for the last 5 minutes, I would get extremely intentional with what I wanted to achieve when I was there. Because I just know that if you go in with no intentions, then you'll probably go in, you'll smile, you'll laugh, you'll have a good time. But if you want to go in and really truly make an impact, I like to think about wherever I'm going, in what ways can I add value to that person, and what would be like a really meaningful moment that I can go in, and whether it's like I compliment them, I tell them why I'm grateful for them. Or just my intentions are I'm just going to go and have a fun time, just being there. Sorry, I get distracted so easily.
Distracted.
Yeah.
That was kind of what started this conversation with us, wasn't it? I mean, being distracted when we are not being intentional, it's kind of easy to get distracted by the person walking by or by another thought or by I know, right? But, it's really easy to get distracted. And so when you do say, okay, today my goal is going to be to use my transition time for a purpose, right? Whatever that purpose is, whatever you want to learn, whatever, like you were saying, wherever you want to grow. I really like that. I thought you were going to say wherever you want to go, but you said grow. I like that. It wasn't even a pun. It was intentional.
No, yeah.
I like that.
Awesome. So there a lot of people say, and I can catch myself when I say, there's just not enough time to do something. and I catch myself because I'm not making the time, and
Right.
and a lot of times it's because I'm filling the time that I do have with things that aren't, very productive. And it's not that they're bad things. Like
No.
listening to the radio, it could be a good thing. It's get your energy up, but are you intentional with where you want to go?
Right. It's a great point because, we do end up wherever we're going to be. The question is, how much control do we have in how we get there? And there are lots of different, I know there's scripture about it. There's, all sorts of different, there's fiction, there's nonfiction that talks about how some people make a plan and do the steps and get there. Now, I never felt like I could do that, right? To me, so, my brother knew from the time he was 5 years old that he wanted to be a dentist, and he literally took steps from the time he was 5 years old to become a dentist, and that's what he is today. For me, I don't know, I wanted to be a dancer, I wanted to be whatever it was,
Sure.
but it didn't work for me to say this is my plan. But if I were to say today this is my plan instead of this is my huge thing, then I can get there. Yeah.
And then you can be intentional with what you're going to be filling your head with,
Yeah.
because I know I have a lot of mentors and a lot of friends that are in the same, like opening up a practice, they're doing all these good things, and if I'm not on purpose, if I'm not clear with where I want to go,
Right.
then I'm like, they're reading this good book or this good book or this good book, which they're all great,
Yeah.
but is it going to get me to where I need to go? And am I, like, if I want to grow in one area and I keep filling it with all these other things, then I'm just going to know, some stuff about a lot of different things.
Well, and truly, I know that for me, when I have not necessarily set intentions for where I want to go, I tend to get swayed by other people's stuff. And then that transition time, when I'm in the car, I'm going, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? She's doing this. Well, if she's doing this and she's doing well, maybe I should be doing what she's doing.
Right.
And I totally get myself off my path. So that transition time really can be phenomenally growth-filled, or it can be really destructive if we're not on top of it.
Right.
So is this our action step? Look, we're doing so great with time.
Awesome.
This is fantastic.
Transition time is the action step.
Yeah.
What can you start to implement in your transition time and start to you just switch out,
Right.
And then, and I would say take it a deeper, step deeper. It's like, where do you want to grow? And then fill that with whatever's going to be able to get you more knowledge about it, more inspiration about it. So
it might take a little bit of planning to figure out like what you want to fill your car with, right, or your MP3 player with, so that you have access to it whenever you're in transition, whether you're in the car, on the bus, on a walk, on a bike. You can have, this is the world of, this is the age of technology, so really you can have it with you anytime, any transition, even like a 5-minute bathroom break. Okay, no, that's kind of gross. But whatever transition you've got. It's what sanitizing.
You never know.
You never know.
Seriously. I mean, I listen to a book a week on my transition times.
Yeah.
So
it can be done. It can be done. So whenever we have that excuse, there just isn't enough time. Where are those places where I can insert it so that I don't have to upend my life in order to make this happen?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.